our assignment desk did. And now we're heading up towards 10 minutes before 5. No question. The 10 freeway, especially Araxia, good point, east and westbound sides of the 10, always busy through the mid-city area during the morning rush. And once the 5 o'clock hour, that's the witching hour for the commute, as I always say, where volume really starts to ramp up. And he's ramping up his speeds here. Again, a high speeds heading eastbound on the 10 freeway, coming away from West LA, away from the 405, now towards mid-city. And he's got a wide-open freeway. I mean, volume is picking up, but he's still going to be able to go along at a really good clip as he makes his way back towards downtown LA, and again towards the point of the origin of this pursuit. LAPD first initiated it, a stolen vehicle suspect, at least 2 people inside, and we saw one person, a passenger, bail out of the front seat there in that West LA neighborhood. Again, what they want to do is they want to bring this pursuit to a safe ending. If there's a possibility to pit him, they will. Obviously, a spiked strip is not practical in a situation like this, in this highly urbanized area where people are getting on the road to go to work and school. But you can see the general flow of traffic and how quickly he is moving in an eastbound direction on the 10 freeway here, now into West Los Angeles. Yeah, absolutely. And being that if it is a stolen vehicle, running the plates won't do you any good, obviously, because the plates will come back to the owner and not to the actual suspect. White minivan here being pursued. It started once again somewhere in the city of Los Angeles, near downtown, on the east side of downtown LA. The pursuit made its way eastbound on the 60 freeway. If you're just joining us, through Paramount, Montebello, over towards the 605 freeway. From there, they made the transition to the northbound side of the 605, took the north 605 all the way up to the 210 Foothill Freeway with very light volume during the early morning hour, during the 4 a.m. hour, and then made their way west on the 210 freeway all the way into downtown Pasadena, connected with the 134, into Eagle Rock, Glendale, Burbank, all the way over to the 101, the Hollywood split, into Studio City, Sherman Oaks. That's where they made the transition from the westbound side of the 101 to the south 405, through the Sepulveda Pass, all the way down to the big backup because of the signal that's impacting both sides of the 405 on the west side. He was frantic, so he used the Wilshire Boulevard on-ramp to the south 405 to exit the freeway, narrowly missing cars, head-on crashes against traffic on Wilshire Boulevard. He meandered down surface streets in the west side and then got back on the 405, past the backup on that signaler, south 405 to the eastbound 10, and that's where we're at. Mid-city, that midpoint between the west side where the 405 is and the 110 Harbor Freeway in downtown LA, moving at a really high rate of speed. We're guessing with our velocity up here in Skyfox, he's going 90-plus miles an hour. No question. The reckless nature of this guy. Well, let's pull out just a little bit and see how closely the ground units are. They're right up against him still. There you go. They're right up against him. The volume is still light. Yeah, two in picture. There's a couple behind him. The LAPD helicopter. Not sure if he's still up here as well. Yep, he's still tracking him as well, low along the 10 freeway. I can see officers in advance, too, holding traffic. This is a coordinated effort. They are listening, all the officers in the area, on a specific frequency, Tony and Araxia, so that they can communicate with officers who might be up ahead of the pursuit to do traffic control, to keep people from getting on the freeway, to keep the volume light, to give room for the officers who are pursuing them, and to keep this, regardless of how reckless he's driving, as safe as possible, especially for motorists who are just trying to make their way to work. And again, if you ever encounter this type of situation, do not in any way try to be a hero. Don't try to intervene. Don't try to stop, because you just do not know who you're dealing with. High-speed pursuit. Skyfox first on it, and we're now heading into downtown LA on the 10 freeway. Eastbound side of the 10, he's going to be coming up on the 110 freeway. That's how quickly he's moving. He made it from the 405 on the west side all the way to the 110 in a mere couple of minutes, right? Here he is. That's exactly right. And he chose not to take the 110 Harbor Freeway either north or south. He is continuing in an eastbound direction on the 10. And this is the area he's heading into where this pursuit may have started, meaning he may be more familiar with this area. So it'll be interesting to see if he chooses to exit the freeway. We're picking up speed up here in Skyfox to keep up with this guy. These suspects like neighborhoods that they're familiar with. They feel familiar just like we do when we go into our neighborhood. We know the local spots. We know which way to turn left. We know which way to avoid a backup at one of the street lights we encounter. And that's what these guys do. They feel that they can get into a neighborhood that they're familiar with and perhaps have an easier time at evading police. Maybe there's a spot where they think that they can bail and get away. This is really look at how quickly he is making his way down the 10 freeway, past all this traffic, 90 plus miles an hour on the 10 freeway. Now he's going to be coming up on the very busy East LA interchange. That's where the 10, the 60, and the 5 freeways all meet here. The illumination, that night sun you still see from LAPD helicopter 18 tracking this overhead. And again, it was the Los Angeles Police Department who initiated this pursuit earlier this morning in this general area. That's where our assignment desk first picked it up. And then the pursuit made its way in an eastbound direction on the 60 from the East LA interchange through Montebello up towards the 605. Let's see what he chooses to do, because he's got a lot of options here at the East LA interchange where traffic is starting to build now that we are approaching the 5 o'clock hour. Again, the pursuit initiated by the LAPD. CHP picked it up. LAPD, once it left their jurisdiction, they asked for the CHP to help them out, and that's exactly what happened. So 2 agencies on this at this time. It looks like the lead car is a CHP cruiser there. So we're going to see what he does here at the interchange. Again, this is where the 10, the 60, and the 5 freeway all meet. So he has choices. He can go southbound on the 5, northbound on the 5. He can connect with the 60. He can stay on the 10 and wrap around up towards the Boyle Heights area, the 5 and Dime, near County USC Medical Center. But it looks like he's staying in an eastward direction here, although that does look like a flyaway transition. Let's see what he does here. No, it looks like he's staying eastbound on the 60 freeway through East LA. And again, this is the general vicinity we believe this pursuit may have started, possibly initiated by the Hollenbeck station. Is he going to take an off-ramp here? Wow, he's going at a quick rate. He was just trying to avoid. Yeah, he looks at... Exiting the freeway. Really quickly, exiting the freeway here. Exiting the freeway. Let's see what he does. He just made impact with a curb. And it looked like his car was disabled somewhat. We've seen some sparks fly out the back end of it. It's unclear if he's got a flat tire. Now he's making a U-turn. And this is a neighborhood he might be familiar with. So now he's going against traffic. I'll try to get you this street here in just a moment. The major here on this street. It's 5 o'clock. You're watching Fox 11 News. And again, we've been tracking this pursuit from up here in Skyfox for the last 25 minutes. And the amount of real estate that he has covered in that short period of time. From the valley where we first picked this up, towards the West Valley, through the Sepulveda Pass, down towards West LA, now east of downtown LA, in the East Los Angeles area, on surface streets, having exited the 60 freeway just past the East LA interchange. Yeah, and that exactly, and that was a point I made just a short time ago, Roxy, and that it'd be interesting to see if he does choose to exit in this area where he's comfortable with, because this is possibly the area where the pursuit was first initiated by the LAPD on the east side of downtown LA through East LA, now on surface streets here, and you can see the illumination of the minivan here. More sparks out the back end. So this car looks to be possibly disabled here a little bit. I don't know if he's lost a tire or not. It's too difficult because of the darkness to determine that at this time. Again, white minivan being pursued, an alleged stolen vehicle. We heard that there was at least 2 suspects inside. We saw one hop out on a West LA surface street just off of Santa Monica Boulevard on the 405, and he's meandering around this neighborhood. Again, as Roxy, you just pointed out, whether or not he knows it or not, more sparks. That's unclear at this time, but they are tracking him from above and the ground still. No question. Fortunately, it's still early. The kids aren't out getting ready to catch the bus or walk to school, but you will see a lot of individuals who walk to work, who ride their bike to work, and this is the time they hit the streets. More sparks as he hits those dips in the intersections there. Another one there. Again, they're pursuing him. And how much gas this car had, too, because, again, he's been driving at a very high rate of speed. You don't get the best gas mileage when you're going 90 or 100 miles an hour, and it's been going for some time. And it's covered a lot of miles across Southern California. Again, eastbound on the 60 freeway, that's what we first heard, coming away from the East LA interchange through South El Monte to the 605, up north to 605, all the way to the 210 freeway westbound, all the way to the 134 into the San Fernando Valley, south on the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass towards the west side, exiting the freeway because the traffic was stopped because of the SIG alert impacting both the north and southbound sides of the 405. Then he was able to meander around that, get on the 10 freeway eastbound through downtown LA. He covered the 10 freeway eastbound from the 405 to the 110 Harbor Freeway in a mere 2 or 3 minutes flat, going 90 miles an hour with no volume, maybe even 100 miles an hour. And then he chose to exit here in the East LA area, Boyle Heights area of LA, just meandering through surface streets. And again, it's difficult for us to keep track of the exact location of these streets, but he's very close to the East LA interchange, north of the 60 at this point. That was West LA, right off the 405 freeway, near the intersection of the 405 and the 10, near Santa Monica Boulevard, on a surface street there. And he did slow down, so it looked like the passenger was like, hey, I'm out of here. And the minivan definitely slowed down enough that we saw the door open and somebody pop out. But there was a couple of units behind this minivan, so unclear if they were able to take that individual into custody or not. And it's unclear if there's more suspects in addition to the driver at this point. We just don't know, and officers don't know. Officers don't know who they're dealing with here. They don't know if this individual is armed. Bottom line, he's driving at such a high rate of speed, so dangerously, and it looks like he's gonna get back on the freeway here. There he goes. There it is. Yep. Yeah, that's what we saw from up here. We definitely saw that happen, and I'm glad you guys were able to pull that up. So at least one person, and our assignment desk, who's been tracking this vigilantly through the morning hours, said that they heard that there could be at least 2 people in the vehicle. And he's making a westbound trek now on the 60 freeway, back towards the East LA interchange into downtown Los Angeles. Or he may make his way north on the 5, but he's got a lot more volume. With every minute of the morning goes by, Tony and Roxy, the volume picks up. You know it. And when you get on the freeway, if you're 5 minutes, running maybe 5 minutes or so late than your typical time, you notice those extra cars, and that's what happens especially during the 5 o'clock hour. Now it's 5:05. On this Tuesday morning, you're watching Fox 11 News, a high-speed pursuit that has covered a lot of real estate, a lot of miles across Southern California, from downtown eastward to South El Monte, up into the foothill communities towards Pasadena, and then into the San Fernando Valley. There's a very busy East LA interchange. Let's see what transition he chooses to take. If he heads back west on the 10, north on the 5. We pan the camera a little bit to the left here. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. There he is. It looks like he's going to make his way There's the interchange. He's got a couple of choices to make here still. Again, this is where the 60, the 5, and the 10 all meet here. The very busy East LA interchange. And it looks like he's back west. Yep, back on the heart of downtown LA towards the 110 Harbor Freeway. The LAPD helicopter continues to illuminate this white minivan, allegedly stolen. Not allegedly driving recklessly and trying to evade police. We've seen that firsthand. Nearly colliding with at least one vehicle as he made impact with that backup on the South 405 because most of the freeway was blocked on the south side, all lanes on the northbound side. And that's where he really panicked, and he used the Wilshire Boulevard on-ramp to the South 405 to exit the freeway against traffic. Again, westbound on the 10 freeway, Tony and Eroxia, towards the 110 Harbor Freeway. Skyfox had this first, and we continue to track this high-speed pursuit here in downtown LA. It certainly was. He was using a very narrow right shoulder area to get by. Some of that backup on the South 405, nearly making impact with some big rigs, some Caltrans crews. You know, all we've seen is close calls or maybe some minor impacts. I'm not sure if there was anything significant that happened prior to us picking up this pursuit, because, again, the pursuit had already covered several miles before we got on top of it in the San Fernando Valley. It made its way eastbound on the 60 freeway through Montebello. Then on the northbound 605, transitioning to the westbound 210 freeway all the way through downtown Pasadena. But at the early hour with light volume, he was able to go 90, 100 miles an hour. And again, the point that needs to be brought up is how much gas is in that tank. How much gas was in that tank when he allegedly stole this vehicle, because he's been traveling at such a high rate of speed. You burn so much more fuel. Your fuel efficiency decreases. And he's covered a lot of miles. You know, we've seen pursuits just come to an end. There's some that have, you know, the cars gradually slows down. He's making a transition now onto the Harbor Freeway right through the downtown slot. And it's unclear if they just decided to give up or they ran out of gas. But that does happen. It certainly does happen. Cars become disabled or they actually run out of gas, or they just get tired of running, these suspects. But he's running right now, and he still feels he can get away. They run because they think there is a chance. And again, at least in the LAPD jurisdiction, a little less than 20% are able to evade police. Some of that is because the officers back off because it's just too unsafe. Now, this is the stretch of the 110 that really does start to load up. You're going to see more cars. This is the northbound Harbor Freeway coming away from the 10 right through the heart of downtown LA. There's the 6th and 9th Street off-ramps, and let's see if he chooses to exit the freeway here. And if he did, he'd be right in the heart of the city, the skyscrapers here of downtown LA. And he may do that. He may feel that that's an easier way out. Let's see what he decides to do that. He's going to take an off-ramp here in downtown LA. Now, this might get dicey for us as well. Oh, now he's choosing to hop back on the freeway. So he's playing a little cat and mouse there with officers. Now he's going to take this off-ramp. He's committed here. It's a 6th Street off-ramp. And 6th Street is undergoing all of that construction. And again, this is going to be difficult for us with the skyscrapers here to maneuver around here. We don't have the clear airspace, but we're going to do our best to track this from up here above the city. Downtown LA still pretty vacant at this time. There's 6th Street looking up ahead, and he's got an open road making his way eastbound. And again, these are a lot of one-way streets. You guys know downtown LA. North and southbound and east and west. Again, the east-west streets are the numbered streets. No, not at all. And he's making his way across downtown LA. It looks like there's a red light here. Going through the intersection there, right through that red light. Again, another infraction which they are keeping close tabs on. Everyone, this guy, once they bring him into custody, and we hope he is brought into custody. Oh, across an intersection there. Very close, running another red light, heading in an eastbound direction. Now he's on the east side of downtown LA, and we're able to look through the the canyon here of these skyscrapers, as is the LAPD unit, making a left turn now, heading northbound. If this is Main or Broadway, we'll get a location here for you. And again, LAPD units, they're all listening in on a specific frequency so they can, there's a pedestrian there crossing over the street. Okay, looks like he might bail out here. There he goes. He just popped out of the vehicle. That is the driver. That is the driver. And let's see what the car's doing here. The car's coming to a stop, and that was the driver who dropped out, and I think he hit his head rather violently. That car is not occupied right now. Wow, what a crazy ending to this pursuit. The suspect on the ground here. He's moving his arm. He's moving both of his arms, but he looks injured. I can't tell if that's a female or a male. It is a female. That was a female driver there. We had no description of any of the suspects. We couldn't tell the individual who was able to jump out. And she's being taken into custody, but she made impact with the ground rather violently here in downtown LA. CHP is taking her into custody at this time. Now, usually when it's a female, and if there's a female officer, it's a female officer that will come over and check her for weapons, contraband at this time. But, you know, given the severity of the situation, those are male officers that are detaining her, cuffing her, and will be taking her into custody. Allegedly a stolen vehicle suspect, definitely a suspect that was driving incredibly recklessly down the freeways of Southern California, the 60, the 605, the 210 freeway, the 405, back onto the 10, back onto the 60, exiting, getting back on the 60, then up the 110 freeway, exiting at 6th Street through downtown Los Angeles. Here's the vehicle, and they're going to make sure they're going to clear it, obviously, before they can code for it, but it did not appear that anybody else exited the minivan, except for the individual we saw hop out of the minivan in West LA. So this appears to have come to a conclusion here. Hopefully nobody, no innocent pedestrians or motorists were injured in this. From what we saw, perhaps just a couple of minor impacts between the minivan and other automobiles, especially on the 405 freeway southbound when this female suspect made contact possibly with a couple of vehicles in the backup of that signal alert on the South 405 on the west side. Yeah, she hit hard, and they will definitely call for paramedics from the Los Angeles Fire Department before. They're not going to put her in the back of a car here. That's standard protocol. You know, she wasn't moving much after she fell. No, she's cuffed. She's handcuffed at this time. Yeah, she's definitely handcuffed. So they're going to... She's moving her head. She's communicating with officers, CHP officers here. Again, it was the Los Angeles Police Department who initiated this pursuit. There's a minivan. It's been cleared. That's a Code 4 situation. And actually, no. Officers have their weapons drawn now. So whether or not... they think that there's somebody else inside this vehicle. There could be somebody. Let's see if we see any movement. Those windows are tinted, but officers are treating bad. Here's, you know, people just out walking their dog and meandering through. Yeah, I would think they would call for backup and block the street off completely if they felt that there was a suspect in here, but now they're just interesting, very interesting down below here to see how they're handling this. If they just want, or maybe they're waiting for that backup before they head up and actually clear the vehicle. And you see that they'll walk up slowly with guns drawn. They will open up the back hatch of that minivan, allegedly stolen. But you know, these people walking down the street are in. No, and again, this may just be a situation where they're waiting for that backup to arrive. We'll go back to the suspect, see if she's still laid out on the road, and she's up now. So they may have put her in the car, at least for the time being. I'm surprised that an RA doesn't. Let's see. Yeah, there she is. She's sitting on the curb there. So I'm pretty certain they're going to wait an RA to check her out. That's typical typical protocol. We'll try to get you a street here as well. More on the east side of the downtown LA area here. And CHP, LAPD, we'll go back to the white van now and see how they're handling that. More officers coming up on it. And they're still handling this like there could be somebody in there, but then at the same time, they're just allowing pedestrians, bicyclists, vehicles to make their way past, even though they have guns drawn on the vehicle. So this is, and again, this is the California Highway Patrol here. And again, we had, okay, so here's a backup. So that's what they were waiting for. So that's protocol to wait for another officer. So now they have 3 officers, and they'll come up on the car, tinted windows. They're going to just make sure nobody else is inside the vehicle at this time. Once they clear it, you'll see the 4 fingers, the code 4, and then this scene will be clear. And there's the passenger door, and that's where you re-racked that video to show our viewers that we did see an individual, another suspect, jump out in West LA off the 405 freeway near Santa Monica Boulevard. Here comes the back hatch. And nobody inside there. And it's clear. It's a code 4. So this vehicle's clear. Again, it made its way a good city block with nobody inside of it, rolling. And that just goes to show you this car was still moving at a decent clip when she bailed. And she's being interviewed here. Information's being taken down by the California Highway Patrol. And again, I'm sure they're awaiting paramedics from the Los Angeles Fire Department. And only because the majority of the pursuits are male suspects. On occasion, we do see a female suspect, but we had no description on the suspects at all. But a female here. Ah, yeah. Yeah, and her head possibly. And so they're going to check her out. Paramedics down below, as you see on the other monitor there. They're checking her out, as I'd indicated. What is that? I know. Who's taking pictures? Was 7 the next one to join us? They only. So We had it before 5, like by a long time, right? Thank you for you guys for picking up on it. Oh, you know what they're doing? Okay. Right? And she just put because there's not a body in there. Yeah. So she just put the tarp down to get in there. And all right, let's go. Are you guys going to come to the scene here? Do you need the exact intersection, Andrew, Greg? I can't read that. That is 5th. I think it's 5th and Wall, yeah. I know. I saw the tents on the sidewalk there. Yeah. Did the RA leave? Oh, there he is. Okay. All right, ER, do you want to see how they want me to do 5:30? Hi, Erica, do you have us? Hi, do you check to see if how they want me to handle 5:30? I know we still have a couple minutes, but okay. Okay. Well, I wonder if 7 had to make it all the way from. Yeah. And 5 just took a long time to launch, huh? Gosh. Oh, no, they are. Yeah, they are, because they're on at 4 a.m. I know those guys are.